In here by our friends from Tennessee. I apologize for being out of breath. I've been working off the Pop-Tarts from last night. In any case, we are happy to be here now for the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, moving down the snack aisle. And we've got Joey Halzle and I'm forgetting names already.
Cooper Mays.
Cooper Mays. There we go. Anyway, we're going to get started. We're going to open up with an opening statement from the offensive coordinator, then we'll get into questions. To ask a question, just raise your hand. We will call on you. We'll run a mic to you, either John or Colin. We'll get it to you, and we'll get started. Coach, if you can welcome us, say hello.
Yeah, real quick before we go to questions, I know I can speak for the whole offense. Really glad to be out here in the great city of Orlando. Obviously, for a lot of us, it's very familiar. Spent a lot of time here, and man, to be back with the Citrus Bowl, I know we'll all agree, it's just first-class organization all the way. Great bowl, great experience, absolutely top flight from this whole crew. So we're honored to be here, proud to be a part of it, and looking forward to going and playing in a great game on the first.
All right, so if you have a question, raise your hand. We'll run you a mic. Whoever wants to get started is more than welcome. We'll start here in the front row on the right.
Good start.
Hey, Joey.
Hey.
Chad Leistico, Des Moines Register. I cover Iowa. Seeing Iowa's defense all year, what do you see from Iowa's defense that perhaps makes this a different type of challenge than you've seen this year?
Yeah, Iowa's obviously, you can see on tape, extremely well coached. They play extremely physical. They tackle well in space. They scheme well. They're just a very sound, solid, strong defense from top to bottom. You see a lot of physical play up front, especially from their defensive line, their linebackers. They like to play physical, get their hands on people. They shed blocks. I mean, there's a reason their defensive numbers are the way they are. It's a really good defense from the front all the way through the back end.
All right, we'll take another one from the same row, front row.
Adam Sparks, Knox News. Joey, considering how good this defense is, and Nico hasn't had a start before, where on the spectrum of like cautious to aggressive do you think Nico should be, and what are you telling him to be in that spectrum?
Yeah, it's not a tune-up game, for a starter. This is a kid making his first start against one of the best defenses in all of college football. But I don't think you can go into it thinking differently. You got to go take what's there. Whatever they're presenting to us, you got to go take advantage of it. You're still going to have to push the ball down the field. You're going to have to take checkdowns when they present. We'll have to run the football well. So, football's still football at the end of the game. We got to block well. We got to tackle well. We got to catch, throw. We got to do all that type of stuff. So to do all of that, and then you're inserting a freshman quarterback in on top of it, where he's just got to manage the game. He's got to understand situational football, when to take the risk, when to not. All of that, when to scramble, when is a throwaway a good thing, when's an incompletion a positive. All of those type of thoughts for a young quarterback. I think what you see young guys when they're making their first start get in trouble in sometimes. Now, he doesn't handle himself like a young guy, so really confident in that. I think he's prepared well. I think he's ready to go. So looking forward to seeing what he's got on the first.
All right, take one from the back on the camera riser.
Cooper, how many practices and snaps have you taken with Nico, and what has the transition been like?
Yeah, he's been the guy all throughout bowl prep. He's done really well for himself. Like Coach said, he doesn't really handle himself like a young guy. So, we've had a good few weeks here to gel and combine and give him a chance to get ready for the game. He's done a really good job, and, he's done the best he can with it.
All right, we'll take one back here, and then we'll go to the red.
Joey, what can you say about Joe Milton's tenure as a Tennessee quarterback, including staying with you guys and helping Nico through the bowl?
Yeah, man, what that guy's done for 3 years for us has been awesome. Obviously, to come in and go through what he did, getting injured, and then obviously when Hendon stepped in and started playing the way he did, sticking around and not only not being a negative draw on the team, but being a positive influence to it, waiting his time, and then stepping in and getting as the full-time starter role. And now here, as he's leaving on his way out, doing everything he can to make sure that Nico is as prepared and ready to play as he can, giving him insight. I can't say enough positive things about that guy, man. He's been a great, what a VFL stands for. That's what I can say about him. He's just big time guy, good character, great Vol for us, man. And I think the Tennessee fan base should be really appreciative of his 3 years here at the university.
All right, we'll take one on the left here.
Coach, what stood out about Cam Seldon's development from the beginning of the season until now?
Yeah, what's been great to see about Cam is he was at a a school where he played everything in high school. He was playing quarterback, defensive end, running back, returning kicks, doing all that stuff. So it's been great to see him turn into what I call like an actual running back, meaning his understanding of protection, his understanding of I can't just grab the ball and run really fast. I got to let these guys up front set up blocks. I got to pace things. I got to press holes. I got to do all that different kind of stuff. It's been awesome to see him not just want to be the big athletic kid that wants to run fast, but embrace, okay, how do I become a complete and total back? So we have a ton of confidence going into this ball game that he'll be able to step in and perform at a high level. Now, you lose two guys that have been extremely productive in the SEC for 3 years. I'm not going to act like that's just a plug and place all the time, but if there's a young kid that can come in and handle it mentally and physically, it's Cam.
All right, we'll take one down front here and then get a couple over here.
For both of you, from different perspectives, there's a lot of attrition with the offense this time of year. What's it been like for you, Joey, trying to get everything organized for the bowl game? And then Cooper, from a leadership standpoint, kind of every position having attrition. How are you trying to lead the guys through this as well?
Yeah, I think on the front end, a lot of it is just like, all right, who are we actually playing with? You know, that's what the big thing you're getting to now in bowl games when you're starting your game week prep. You know, plays are great, scheme is great, but the players matter more. So, like, who are we actually playing with? And as you get down to it and you realize, okay, these are the guys we got, now how do we put these guys in the best position to go be successful? I think that's the main thing in bowl season, what that has become, is with the opt-outs and with the transfer portal and with all that type of stuff, it's like, who are our 11 that we're rolling out there with? It's like, okay, these are our guys. Now let's put them in the best position to be successful. And you can talk about the leadership side.
Yeah, I mean, for the leadership part, nothing really changes. You know, the standards are going to remain the standards, you know, long after whoever's gone. So, yeah, just rising to the standard and doing stuff the right way, handling yourself like a man, you know, being there on time, doing stuff the right way, making plays. I mean, that's what we're here to do, and that's what we've been taught. So nothing's going to change based off who's there, who's not there.
We'll go to the green and then right behind you afterward.
Joey, a year ago at this time, you had just kind of become the offensive coordinator, and I know you had been in the offense a long time, but where have you seen kind of yourself grow personally in that role from last year at this point to now?
Yeah, I think last year at this point, man, it was just trying to figure out the right way to go about everything. Just trying to figure out, like, how do I work into this? And now, as I feel I'm more comfortable in it, obviously after a full year of doing it, I have my routine. I know how I need to operate in a day-to-day to make sure I'm as prepared as I need to be on game day to give this team the best chance to go be successful. So it's morphing from kind of just trying to figure it out, trying to make sure I just don't screw something up, to like, okay, this is my routine. This is what I need to do to be successful. This is how I need to prepare to feel prepared on game day, and really taking that step as far as the day-to-day of how I just operate with the team, with the staff, and then with the quarterback room still.
All right, we'll take second row here and then first row on the right.
Joey, from your vantage point of working with Nico for a full year now, where do you think is one spot or a couple aspects of his game that have taken the biggest jump from your vantage point?
Yeah, he in his defensive recognition, he really dug into that. A lot of freshman quarterbacks are just like, cool, teach me the plays and I'll figure it out. Like, he really wanted to dive into, like, all right, how do I judge a defense? What am I getting as far as, like, tips, and how do I know when I'm getting pressure? When am I hot? When am I not? He really dug into that. Like I said at the beginning, not like most true freshmen handle themselves. Like, he was big into that side of it. And then mechanically, he's just, when someone comes in as highly touted as he was, a lot of times they feel like they're finished products. He wasn't. He wanted to come in and be like, all right, what do I need to do to take my physical game to the next level as well? So he came in, was completely open with, tinkering with the mechanics, his lower body, all of that. And that's why I think he's made the growth that he is, and that's why I think that the guys out there with him have the confidence in him that he'll go perform at a high level when he's called upon.
We've got time for a couple more. We're going to go one on the right here, one on the right there, and then one on the riser to end.
Joey, every quarterback obviously has the routes and plays and protections they're most comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Joe had those. Nico has, I'm sure his list is a little different. Have you had that conversation with him this week of what he's most comfortable in, or did you sort of already know that before you got here?
Yeah, I think, yes, we have. Like, that last week or the week before the first week of the bowl prep, treated it like a true game week, like we're ready to play when we break for Christmas. So we had the whole conversation of, like, what are you most comfortable with in third downs? What are you most comfortable with in the tight zone? What are you most comfortable with as your first normal down calls? So all that's been talked about. You feel like you know, but until a guy has a full week of prep as the guy, I don't even think they really know. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of following, like, man, I actually am not comfortable with this. I actually am extremely comfortable with that. So as we work through that together, I think that's been, you know, a good working relationship. Obviously, as a freshman, not being on the scout team, but being as a 2 all year, you have a little bit better understanding. But until a guy goes through an entire prep as the guy, they don't even themselves really know.
I'll do one on the right and then in the back, and then we'll have Aaron and Coach Banks in.
Yeah, Joey, what has Squirrel White meant to this offense this year, and what's ahead for him?
Yeah, Squirrel, he's just an explosive play waiting to happen. That's been one of the biggest things for him is he's got legit 10-4 track speed out there. So you put guys like that in a bunch of grass and you let them go run really fast, cool stuff happens. So he's been the guy that we can rely on to be, all right, we need to go try to take the top off of this right now. We need to go try to stretch the defense. Squirrel's a guy that can go out there and do it on any given down, any given snap. So he's been a big, crucial part of this offense.
Right, on the back.
Hey, Joey, good morning. Without giving away the game plan, what are the challenges of tailoring things for Nico as opposed to what you would normally do for Joe?
I think it still starts with what defensively makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, that's where it has to start. It can't be like, well, we got a freshman quarterback, so we're not going to do this. I mean, yeah, you got to be smart about the positions you put him in. You don't want to put him in any negative spots where you're like, yeah, this might be a bad play, but let's see if he can get us out of it. That's not a thought process you go into with, but it still has to all start with what actually makes sense scheme-wise, and then let's start refining it to what he's the most comfortable with.
All right, thank you guys. We appreciate it. We'll let you go with that, and we'll bring in Coach Banks and Aaron here in a minute.
Thanks, guys.